Hey guys, what's up? My name is Syam, and in this video I'm going to talk about JavaScript data types. And before heading toward what are the different kinds of data type, we should know what is the importance of these data types. Before using any variable, if we have enough information about the kind of data it carries, it would be helpful to make any different kind of operations on that particular variable. So data type tells about what kind of data a variable carries, and then it helps us to understand how a data can interact with other data. Like if we are using two different variables and they might be having same kind of data type or maybe different kind of data type. So if we try to put together how they will behave, also based on different type of data, one can understand what kind of operations is allowed on it. So let's say if it is a string kind of data, then we know that we can do a reverse string, we can break the string, split it. And if it is a number, then we know that we can do like math.random, or we can use fix the decimal point at a certain position and something like that. So in JavaScript, there are two different kinds of data type talked about. One is called primitive and another is composite data type. In JavaScript, there are 7 kinds of primitive data types. Primitive data types are those which holds a single value and they are immutable. Immutable means we cannot change the value once we have assigned it. We can assign a new value, but the assigned value cannot be modified. So those 7 primitive data types are string, number, boolean, undefined, null, symbol, and big int. So let's begin with string data type. String data type are those which represent a textual data, and those are series of characters like alphabets or the special characters or numbers. In JavaScript, a string can be represented in 3 ways. One is with double quotes, another one is with single quote, and the third one is with a backtick. Using single quote or double quote doesn't make any difference, but the string with backtick is a different one, where we can use a JavaScript variable within that string with the help of this $sign and curly brace. So when we console this phrase string, it will get rendered and show the output with a string hello inside it. The second one is number data types. Number data types are those which represents numeric data, which may be both like integer and floating points, but there is a maximum range of number. Like there is a maximum safe integer, and the maximum value is 2 power 53 minus 1. So if we are using such value, that is safe to make any kind of calculation. Any value which is beyond this is unsafe and may results in inaccurate output. So as I mentioned, a number can be an integer or a floating point with the decimals. There are 3 symbolic values in a number. One is infinity, another is negative infinity, and one is NaN, not a number. So if you are performing any operation with a string or something which is not a number with a number, then it may result you NaN output. Let's run it and see the result. So as we see, the first one is giving you infinity because we are dividing a number by 0. The other one is negative infinity, and the third one is NaN because we are trying to divide a number with a string. Okay, let's move on to the third data type. And the third one is Boolean data type. Boolean results you a true or a false value. So the fourth one is undefined. So whenever we create a variable and we are not assigning any value to it, then JavaScript itself assign a value, and that is called undefined. Undefined simply means the absence of any value while declaring the variable. So let's try it in browser. So here let's say I'm making a variable age and I'm not giving any value to the age, and when I try to console it, age variable, it will print undefined because JavaScript is trying to assign a variable a value that is undefined. This is how it works. Okay, so the next and the fifth one is null data type. And null data type is nothing but when we assign a variable and we are trying to say that, okay, this value does not contain anything, but this is assigned by, or this is declared by a programmer by assigning a value equals null. So the undefined is more from the JavaScript side, where JavaScript sees that there is no value assigned to a variable and it gives undefined, but the null is more from the programmer side, when a programmer is saying that, okay, this is a variable but I'm not going to assign a value, or maybe a value was assigned previously but now we wanted to remove that value by saying, okay, this is null, there is nothing in that particular variable, or nothing is pointing by this particular variable. However, if you try to use type of operator on null, it will return you object. So null is an object. It is not a type of null itself. So this is a bug which was there since the beginning, and people tried to remove it, but it was like rejected outright because it may break a lot of things. So still we have type of null is equals to object and not null. Okay. Let's check it out in the browser itself. So let's say I have a variable called age equals null, and when I see type of age, it gives object, so it is not giving you a null. Okay, so the next one is symbol data type, and the symbol data type was introduced in ES6, and it creates a very unique identifier every time we use it. So it is a unique and it is immutable, you cannot change it, and because it is unique, every time you create it, the two symbols cannot be equal at any point of time. Okay, let's go to browser and we will look at it. So here I'm creating two symbols, symbol foo and with variable name sym2, and similarly sym3 having the same kind of symbol foo. So it looks like the two symbols would be same, and when we try to console it, I'm using both double equal and triple equal so that I'm confirming that it would give the same result. Okay, so when I try to console it, even if it looks like that they are same symbol foo, but they are not equal, not double equal, not triple equal. Okay, so they are unique. So the last primitive data type is big int, and it is being introduced in ECMAScript 2020, and right now it is not supported by all the browsers. So if you're trying to use it, make sure you're using the right browser which supports it. And so this big int actually represents an arbitrary length of integer number. So if like we talked about a number data type which has a limitation of 2 power 53 minus 1, but this does not have any limitation like that. And make sure that we are talking about integer number. It does not support floating or decimal kinds, it just supports integer number. And if we create a number with appending n letter at the end of that number, it represents a big int. And it mostly used when people are using like microsecond kind of precision time stamping, that this will come handy. Okay, let's go and check it out in the browser how it looks like. So here in the browser, let's say I'm using a variable timestamp and giving a big int number, and make sure that we have this n appending at the last that represents a big int. And if we try to see what is the type of this timestamp, will give you big int. Okay, the type of timestamp is big int, it's not number, and it's not comparable with number. We cannot do any kind of operation with number data type with this big int. Okay, so that's it about primitive data types. Let's move on to the next one, the last one, and it is object. An object is a composite data type. It holds a collection of values. It may have it does not have a single value, it has many values. It may be a many same kind of value or maybe different combination of values. And it is an unordered list. There is no sequence of this of the data which an object is containing. And we can recognize with the help of having properties within the object. These properties are with the key and value pairs, and we access them with the help of dot notation or with the help of square brackets. Okay, one thing we should note here is this composite data types are mutable. Mutable means once we assign a value to it, we can change the contents of that particular assigned value. So here I'm showing one example. Let foo equals to an object having three properties a, b, c with key and values, and let's say I'm assigning this particular foo to the bar variable. Okay, so foo and bar are now pointing to the same object, right? And if we make any change, like if we make a equals to 20 or any other value, then foo and bar both can see that the value has changed. Okay, so we are not changing the object itself, or we are not reassigning it, but we are actually manipulating the contents of the object. So that can be done, and that's why we are saying it as a mutable data type. So let's see that same example of object in a browser. I'm just copy pasting this one. Let foo equals the whole object, and I'm doing let bar equals foo. And if we see console.log bar, you will see this one, right? And if we do like foo dot a equals 100, okay, and then console.log bar, we can see the value a equals to 100 over here, right? So we are manipulating the value, and because both foo and bar are pointing to the same object, we can see the values are getting reflected by bar as well. However, if we talk about simple primitive data types, let's say let age equals 30, okay, and then if we do like age equals 40, this is not changing or mutating the existing 30 value. We are actually reassigning a new value. We are giving a totally fresh value to the age. So here we cannot change it. So that's why we are saying the primitives are immutable. We cannot change 30 to 40. However, we can assign a new 40 value to the age variable. Okay. So that's all about it, guys. We have learned that in JavaScript we have 8 data types, 7 are primitive and 1 is composite. The primitives are immutable, composite is mutable. Thank you guys for watching the video. See you next time. Bye.